The growing menace of articulated vehicles and their poorly clamped containers on Nigerian roads is a matter of national emergency. The fact that these trucks, trailers and tankers are for now a major means of moving of goods from one town to another is a major concern. Should this really be so? Welcome to the program. I am Fatima Omar, and the episode today is on the menace of articulated vehicles on our roads. For starters, we drive to Lagos, where the menace of these articulated vehicles is a major concern for residents there in Lagos.
In recent time, there have been many reported cases of road accidents involving articulated trucks, tankers, and enlarged containers, large metal boxes used for shipment, storage, and movement of goods, falling off the flatbed trailers conveying such, causing permanent disabilities or deaths to Nigerians, leaving in its wake sorrows, tears, and blood. Whereas there are laws guiding the movement of truck and trailers, but there seems to be blatant disregard for the law, begging the question why the law and traffic enforcement agencies seem to be ineffectual in preventing the gruesome accidents and recklessness of the articulated trucks on the roads, particularly in Lagos City.
Until recently, when we started having an upsurge in the rate of crashes again, and it's an indication that something must have got amiss. And ever since we've gone into enforcement again, we've reactivated our enforcement, and we've also started another series of collaboration and intervention meetings. Even as at this time yesterday, the Corps Marshal, Boboyo Yemi, was at Department of Petroleum Products, where we had series of meetings with the management, still in the same line of this recent development as regards the tankers. And I've also been privileged to visit Nigerian Port Authority, where the loadings are always being made, where I had series of meetings too with the management, all tending towards curbing this menace.
One major one is road. Nigeria roads are deplorable. Or I'll say most of the roads are deplorable. Yeah, let me applaud the federal government for they are trying their best to fix all the road, but some of the road are still deplorable, and it's one of the factors causing this accident.
According to research, there have been no fewer than 95 falling tanker incidents in Lagos since mid-August 2010. The report does not include falling container incidents, and many incidents involving trucks are hardly reported except when they claim casualties.
If the bad road is outrightly the cause of all these containers falling, then there's no Nigerian that will be able to move on Nigerian roads again. Because before you got there as a driver, some other trucks will have fallen. So how were they able to manage the road that the vehicle did not fall while they managed through that road? So why your own vehicle? You discover that some drivers don't have patience. Some drivers are under the influence of drugs. Some drivers are not well trained. And all these things attribute to a series of crashes we have involving drivers. How do you judge a driver that is already high before picking on that heavy truck with a full loaded container?
To forestall recurrence, those responsible for the accident must be prosecuted for criminal negligence and gross dereliction of responsibility. Also, the legislative framework to regulate the activities of operators of these articulated vehicles should be strengthened. The law should also provide a strong source of protection or remedy for individuals and communities negatively affected by the reckless activities of these operators.
It is sad and painful, to say the least, that such vehicles still ply the roads despite the carnages they are causing on the road. There are laws guiding operations of these vehicles, and it is hoped that, guided by these laws, actions are taken to avoid further loss of lives. Now, Ibadan in Oyo State, well known as the Pace-setter State, is a major road linking most parts of the country. And the reckless attitude of these articulated vehicles have not gone unnoticed. Such is the story in Abeokuta, Ogun State, the Gateway State. Let's watch these two reports.
No doubt, the contributions of the articulated vehicles to the national economy has been so huge, as available records show that on the average, about 3,000 tankers are involved in wet cargo haulage, and another 1,500 trailers are engaged in dry cargoes plying Nigeria roads daily. As a result of the collapse or inefficiency of other means of transportation, especially the rail sector, the country over the years relied heavily on these long vehicles. However, the occupation of the articulated vehicles on the Nigerian highways has also become a thorn in the flesh of the country. The vehicles have not only contributed to the general deplorable state of the roads in the country, but also resulted in high rate of crashes on the highways.
A lot of instances where these articulated vehicles lose brake, run into other vehicles, kill cars, destroy infrastructures, and the rest of it.
Like other places in the country, Oyo State also has its own share of the harrowing experiences of the articulated vehicles.
Most importantly, we know that there are three major causes of accidents. And the primary among them, that's the most important among them, is the human factor. The human factor, and that is the driver of the vehicle.
From Lagos to the toll gates, Iwo Road interchange, and Ojo ends of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the gory tales is better imagined than experienced. Ojo was once notorious for the activities of the articulated vehicles, since it is the gateway to other parts of the country.
At that place, the mechanics are there, all those people that they have one thing or the other to do with the trailer, they are always staying at Ojo. I think that is the main reason why they were always parked there.
At the time our crew visited the area, there was free flow of traffic, as only a few trucks were parked by the roadside.
As we talk now, I was just coming from the axis you are asking me about, and that is Ojo axis of Ibadan. And I can tell you, I don't know if you have been there, but what I saw this morning, I am impressed. They were not littered or indiscriminately parked the way they normally park before. The few I saw this morning were lashed, that is, they were twisted. You could see that they were secured.
And we also engaged the security agencies so that we had a meeting and everybody come up with different things or the other, and we found ourselves on the same page that we want the trailers to leave Ojo, so that we will have a free flowing of the transport. And we come about that we need a trailer park, and the Oyo State government assists us, while the local government, the Aken local government, we were able to release a parcel of land that can accommodate like 5,000 trailers at a time.
With the ongoing effort of the federal government to restore the rail system of transportation, it is believed that Nigerians will heave a sign of relief, as this is expected to bring drastic reduction in the tension associated with articulated vehicles on the Nigeria highways.
The impact of the activities of articulated vehicles along Shagamu axis of Lagos-Benin Expressway is becoming alarming and worrisome by the day. These include indiscriminate parking along the road, flagrant disobedience to traffic rules, among other commercial activities. Road traffic accidents involving articulated vehicles along this corridor is often devastating, the effect of which is better imagined than experienced.
Just last week, Sunday, we concluded the third phase of Operation Scorpion against the container transporters. And I can assure you it was a huge success. And right now, the compliance level is very commendable. So this put to rest the fear of falling containers while on transit, thereby jeopardizing the lives of other road users.
Meanwhile, until recent years, haulage activities were through the rail across the country. The use of trucks and other articulated vehicles were introduced as an alternative means of haulage apart from rail and waterways. This was due to the moribund state of the rail system.
But right now, there's no train. So everybody has to go into truck business. And when you go into truck business, this truck business we are talking about, it is the last span of the road. The last span of the road, when truck is going through it, cannot last long.
Without mincing words, activities of articulated vehicles over time have contributed in no mean measure to the pressure on the Shagamu axis of the Lagos-Benin Express Road.
Every day they say it's the trailer people that cause problem. As you can see now, when you came down here, all the trailers are well packed. The problem that the trailers need is that we want the government to look for a perfect trailer park for us here.
When you go to abroad, along the line, the road, you must see a parking space. In the sense that if your trailer or your truck got breakdown, you push it and park it along the parking space. It should be more secured.
What really happened is that from here to Ore, there is no any trailer park on the road. And if the truck is having a problem, the normal place we have to park our trucks is in a trailer park. And in most cases, when you park your truck by the side of the road, it causes accident.
Meanwhile, as the federal government intensifies efforts and commitment to resuscitate the rail system, the construction of standard gauge rail and introduction of fast train cabin across various parts of the country would reduce activities of articulated vehicles on the axis and also increase the lifespan of our roads. Before this is achieved, truck drivers are advised to be cautious while on the road and also attend routine training on safe motoring.
Each driving must partake on the driver course. Lowest every 3 months. You go for once, 4 times in a year. The issue of accident along the road will reduce.
Operators of haulage can explore the option of using the waterways and the seaports. Government also needs to provide a park for them along the Shagamu axis in order to end this menace.
It is almost like once the driver of an articulated vehicle has been given the key to a heavy-duty vehicle, he becomes drunk on will, with some sort of attitude like they can get away with anything on the road. Are there solutions to this? And how can this be managed for a safer road?
The menace of articulated vehicles on the road has gone on for a very long time, and it is getting worse. It is getting worse because over the years, say from the 80s to early 90s, we had a functional railway system. And 2, the population of Nigeria have not exploded to the extent to which it is. 3, the volume of imports into Nigeria have not increased to the way it is. Articulated vehicles, particularly trailers, carry heavy goods, and most of our imports and our exports come through them, unfortunately. And the percentage have continued to increase over the years. Before now, railway would carry some of the goods. Water transport would carry some of the goods. But unfortunately, in the last 15 to 20 years particularly, it is now 90% of our imports as a country of 200 million people is carried by articulated trucks. So the number of trucks have increased exponentially. Their menace, unfortunately, have increased exponentially. The rate of hazards and carnage that we used to complain about 18, 20 years ago have tripled. It's not even double, tripled. The statistics show that 48 hours, every 48 hours, a carnage happens on the road involving a trailer or a tanker. And that carnage is often fatal. When it is not fatal, it involves gross criminal damage of goods because they are usually overloaded. Our roads are not built to carry all that heavy tonnage of goods. We don't have specialized tracks for trailers. As in some countries, you have specialized tracks. We don't. So trailers share the same tracks with us. Our roads are narrow. And sadly, many of the drivers are poorly trained. We carry on in Nigeria with this attitude that drivers should be people who didn't go to school, people who either drop out from secondary school or primary school, and that it's a low-paying job. But that is an error of judgment. We're talking about fleet owners. Those that own fleets, they are laid back about managing their fleets. They don't maintain the vehicles well. They don't care about their driver training. They don't care about overloading those vehicles. They don't care about when those vehicles are safe to load. Federal Road Safety Corps has rigorous policies, detailed policies on when it is safe to load a vehicle, and standardization on safety. The drivers themselves, with the macho attitude of the drivers, their gung-ho attitude, this feeling that they own the road because they are so muscular, they are such a big juggernaut, small boy with an inflated ego about himself. And sometimes, I'm sorry to say this, they are psychologically not very balanced. For different frustrating or depressing reasons, tormenting them inside, they get on the road, they transfer that aggression to innocent people on the road. There are many cases road safety have pulled up people who are drunk. When you don't sleep well, when you don't rest well, even as a normal, sane human being, it affects your sense of judgment of the road because you've not slept well and you've not rested well and you push yourself beyond the limit because you're driving from Jos, you're driving from Makurdi, you're driving from Maiduguri, and you have to get to Port Harcourt or you have to get to Lagos. Stretching yourself in itself, it causes some very mental depressing impact on your own body and on your own sense. And before you know it, you get irascible and aggressive and angry with people. And people, of course, some even sleep on the wheel. They fall asleep. All these brake failures we hear about, some of them is because they were not having a clear presence of mind. So because they are not having a clear presence of mind, you don't know when to press the brake in time. The brakes of this vehicle, many of them are actually good. But we have now taken it for granted. Oh, heavy-duty vehicles, their brakes are not good. No, their brakes ought to be very good. But the reason they tend to fail most times is not because of mechanical failure. It's actually human failure. These are issues that have to do with their attitude.
That nobody is above the law in the country, and it's just some psych. If you are in a car and you see a trailer, naturally you develop some psychological feeling, but that's also like intimidation. And we've been sensitizing our members to inform their drivers to be careful. we are pained, we are concerned with the developments of accidents on the roads, and it really affects us and affects the business. You know, but we have severally been intimating of our members, that is the truck owners, of the need to increase their safety standards. Recently, due to bad roads, and if you repair your vehicle probably once, twice a week or a month, probably you have to do it much more, because, for example, some of us that send our vehicles from the north down to Lagos, you find that you repair a vehicle from the north, by the time it reaches Lagos, you still have to repair it before it comes down. It's due to the dilapidated nature of the roads. But we are trying to ensure that the safety standards increased. We've been telling our members, especially the drivers, and more importantly, to adhere to the strict speed limit. And if you adhere such, I'm sure some of these things can be curtailed. If a vehicle is not roadworthy, you will not even send it to the road. But even if it is a brand new vehicle and follows the road of today in Nigeria, you will expect some accidents. We try as much as possible to avoid, but there's nothing you can do. A trailer that is loaded will fuel, a brand new trailer that will come to the road, big holes, the driver has to swap and find a small hole to enter. In the course of that swapping, sometimes if it's not controlled, the truck will go down. There's nothing he can do in the circumstance. As much as we want to be safe, there's nothing you can do on the current condition of the road. You can't say we have closed shop, because if we close it, that will be disgusting. We will have to fly the road the way it is, at a very low speed. Even brand new vehicle can have accident. But what we can do is to ensure before a driver is dispatched from his home base, the vehicle must be roadworthy. Before a driver loads at the loading point, the truck must be trustworthy. Before a driver leaves the loading point, the destination, the truck must be roadworthy. That's what you call journey management plan, from A to B and B to C, and that's it. So we adhere all that. But in the situation where you come to the road, there are a lot of potholes. Sometimes a truck will be fully loaded with petroleum product. When it comes with the petrol and the truck enters a big hole, what do? The driver has to pull to get out of the loading point. Now they cannot load more than the capacity. Any truck that you see, its capacity is certified and approved. So there's nothing. I mean, fuel truck. I don't mean open, but there are some of the dry cargos that do that. But to a large extent, most of my members are very disciplined and they try to be. As it is today, I believe from what we know, there is a truck park that is ongoing, which is being erected by Kaduna State government at Tapa. There is similarly another one at Mararaban Jos. All this is with a view to ensure all those trucks that park along the way are evacuated. But until such places are done, we will have to manage what we have. As much as we don't want drivers to park at random and so on, but if there is no space for drivers to park, what option do you have? They will have to park somewhere across the road. This is an issue that we'll probably have to keep discussing with government until we find a solution. We don't like it, but we don't have choice.
As a road user, it is very important you avoid these vehicles as much as you can. Do not struggle the road space with them. They drive as though they are in competition with smaller vehicles, giving no consideration for other road users. The rate is alarming, and there is need for government to be more stringent in enforcing laws that curb the excesses of articulated vehicles. Until the next episode, you can follow the program on the social media handle on Twitter at RoadMattersNTA or send a mail to roadmatters@nta.ng. I am Fatima Umar. Always give a safe space while driving for your safety and that of others on the road. Bye-bye.